What's happening? Andy here. I am joined today by Mary Jo Johnson of EO Johnson and Nancy Langdale of Canon USA. How are you guys doing today?
Great. How are you, Andy?
I am great. It is awesome to see you guys. It is Women's History Month, and Canon came to me and had a great idea. They said, we've got an awesome dealer out in the Midwest, EO Johnson. It's run by a woman and a great asset, a great person for this industry, well recognized. And Canon wanted to offer some recognition. So Nancy, tell us a little bit, what do you do for Canon? We'll start with you, and then we're going to kind of get into the, to the big part of it and talk to Mary Jo and maybe have you do some interviewing.
Thanks, Andy. So I'm the Vice President of Sales for the Independent Dealer Channel for Canon USA. I've known Mary Jo for many years, and I knew her dad, before that. And she's a wonderful woman in business. And we wanted to recognize our partnership and bring her to the forefront.
Very cool. And you are personally located where? You said you're in somewhere in the South right now.
Western North Carolina, God's country. Yes.
Okay. How is the virus doing down there? Got to ask. What's going on with you guys down there?
I think same as everywhere. It has peaks and valleys, but I think all in all, I think it's getting better, and I think a lot more. The vaccine is much more readily available, and things are looking up, I think.
All right.
It's exciting. Mary Jo was one of the last people that I visited with before the pandemic, and we've seen each other on Microsoft Teams since then, but it's good to see your smiling face again, and I hope to see you in person soon.
I can't wait for that, Nancy. So good to see you, and hey, thanks for your kind comments. I really appreciate that.
I haven't seen either of you guys in ages. I'm actually about to just do my first business trip. There's a BTA event and some other association and group events down in Florida coming up. So I'm going to finally do one of those. Over to you guys at EO Johnson. Roger's daughter. I knew Roger and he knew my dad, and I worked for my dad and you worked for your dad. Congratulations on just what you guys have built out there in the Midwest, and you're in your headquarters. You have offices in 3 states. And why don't you tell us a little bit about EO Johnson and when you began and the journey that you've been on?
I sure will. Andy, thank you. And you mentioned Roger. Roger King was our president for many years, but my father was EO Johnson. So I know you'd mentioned Roger was my dad. That's not exactly true. He'd kill me if he heard you say that.
By the way. Yeah, I'm glad you straightened that out, though, because that's definitely going to get some emails. But anyway, I do know Roger. I don't know if I actually met your dad, but your dad probably did meet my dad now that you said it.
Absolutely. And he thought very kindly and very highly of your dad. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, my dad started the company.
When did the company start and started with 1 location? Now you have, I think you said 7 possibly, or how many do you have now?
Yeah. He started in 1957 back with the 3M thermal copiers.
Wow.
At the time, he was selling adding machines, and he walked into a customer's office at the time, and she was making copies, and he couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was like high tech personified. They're putting a piece of paper down, and they're getting another piece of paper out. How does that happen? Is that magic? And therefore, he followed up with 3M at that time, became a thermal copier dealership, and we were introduced to Canon years later in the 70s. And they had one thing that 3M didn't have, which was plain paper copies. So that's where we got really hot and heavy also with Canon, and have enjoyed our relationship ever since.
I think it's 42 years.
That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
You weren't even born then.
Well, you're very kind, but I was.
And now 7 locations across 3 states. What are the states now? It's Iowa, Minnesota. What was the other one?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. That's the headquarters.
Yeah, we started in Wausau, Wisconsin, and my dad had territory also in Eau Claire. So we have offices there. We have one in La Crosse, Wisconsin, Rochester, Minnesota, Minneapolis area. We have 2 offices there right now. We are working on combining. We have an office in Iowa. And we have some people working remotely in their homes from a sales function. And then the Wausau area, we have 2 offices in Wausau. So I believe that should come up to 7 somewhere. Yeah.
How many people is that?
282, I believe.
Goodness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're huge. That's a huge dealership. That is awesome. So selling Canon all across the Midwest for, what was it, 50 something years.
42.
42 years, almost 50.
42.
You're closing in on 50. What, so tell me a little bit about, you know, what's been happening with Yo Johnson in the last 12 months since the last time you saw each other. You know, business has changed, and you mentioned a lot of your people are remote. I'm wondering if, I'm guessing more of them are remote right now than they were last year, although you might have had some remote people as well. You know, how has the experience been going? What are you guys doing to, you know, get your team through it at this point? You know, what's ahead for 2021?
Oh, wow. It's been a crazy 12 months for sure. I was proud of the fact that we sent people home in 2 days. We literally took all 280 people and out they went. So we do have an IT arm. We refer to it as LockNet, and we take care of everybody's networks and things like that. And so it was very easy for us to deploy everybody. Then we got a chance to help all of our customers, get them deployed, get them secure, virtual private networks, all that stuff. And from the print standpoint, obviously, if people aren't in offices, they're not printing as much. And that impacted our business. There is no doubt at all. But we were able to keep things running. Obviously, we were able to flesh out all of the things that we could do from a LockNet standpoint and document management, because people were saying, hey, we're not in our offices and I don't have access to accounts payable. How do I do that? So we helped them walk through all of that. I mean, we ended up even doing people's mail because no one was in the office for a couple of large corporations in the area. And we go pick up their mail, we sort it out, we scan it, we send it to them. And it's just craziness. You got to find the business where it is, find out where people need help, which is what birthed us in the first place. I mean, we were there to help other businesses succeed and grow. And so, shoot, we're selling masks. We're doing absolutely everything we possibly can in response to our customer needs.
So you grew into PPE. Who would have thought you'd be selling hand sanitizer and masks? But you know what? That's a customer need right now. And, you know, you're not getting rich, I'm sure, off of the mask, but it's just another thing you can provide for your customers at a time when, you know, maybe in the past they were probably happy to go search for things, but now with the frustration level and trying to find, you know, regular, and you probably experienced this yourself, just trying to find regular suppliers for items just like those masks and some of that other stuff. You know, one thing I've noticed at every office I've gone into in the last, be it doctors or even grocery store, or whatever, there is a hand pump with sanitizer and somebody's filling that. And I know they're not running to Costco every other week to get it because, you know, they're out of it half the time. So you need somebody reliable. And that's, you know, that's just another thing I think dealers like you are able to bring to your customers in a time of need when they need somebody who they can count on, right? So,
right, absolutely. Just responding to business needs as they change.
So what do you think for 2021? What are you excited about for, you know, now that you kind of have a feel for the way the year is going to go or could go, and you know, you're finding some new opportunities. What are you excited about looking forward for the next 12 months?
Well, I'm excited for people to come back to the office, obviously, because, you know, when you are involved in how many prints people are making, obviously you want people to make more prints if possible. But there's all different kinds of printing now that people are doing. They might not be utilizing a standard copier as much as doing other things. They may be printing signs about safetiness through the balance of the COVID issue. So we're looking forward to how we can wrap our arms around our customers even better with some new things that we've come up with. And, you know, it's really fun to see the pent up demand. People didn't make decisions last year and they're doing it now. And one of the most fun things is the fact that people have put off document availability and content availability. And we help them do that. And now they're coming to us saying, okay, remember what you guys talked to us, you know, 14 months ago? We
did it. Yeah, right.
Do that. Yeah. So it's really fun to see. It really took that whole genesis and pushed it forward in a very short time frame. But it really has been fun to respond. They get it now, you know, and they get IT security and they get communication long distance and they get Microsoft Teams, and we can help with all of those things.
That's huge. That's huge. And so you're you know, literally able to walk a customer through this whole process where they you know, they were struggling with, oh my gosh, my whole my whole company is now working at home. Nobody can access, people are probably having to drive in to access files the one time during the week when they're allowed in the building or whatever in some places. Or, my wife actually was literally, when the schools were closed, driving to her school where she works as a psychologist and sitting in the parking lot so she could get on the Wi-Fi to get her access, right? Because this is, but this is what nobody planned for this kind of, it's a school. Why would you need access outside of school hours, right? Nobody ever thought that through, but what an opportunity going forward, to go back to your customers and say, how did you do? What did you need? What could have made this better? And the fact that you really can help them with probably almost every aspect of that, I would think there's a lot of opportunity for you guys.
You bet. Yeah. When you're in the business information business, it's really easy to see because we went right through it along with everybody else. And scanning, for crying out loud, people are calling us and saying, we have all these documents and we need to start sharing them. Can we start with our scanning and then you can help us with the sharing? And so everything is just clicking so beautifully because people are realizing what we were saying for the past number of years, that it's real and it can help.
Yeah. And if you don't do it right, you're vulnerable, right? So that's the other thing, because we all know that anybody can just go on Amazon and get a scan or get a printer, get whatever they need, they think they need to get the job done. And we can talk all day about the level of, machines you're getting off of there. And, we've heard countless stories about that person who bought what they thought was an expensive printer and got something that turned out, they found out why it was not the same price point of the ones that we typically sell through this channel. But, what happens is, they don't have that consulting. They don't have that person to tell them, here's how you use it. Here's how you install it. Here are the things you need to set up to actually make it secure, right? And that's the value that, a company like you brings, I think, to the table, where, they can get a printer anywhere, they can get scanners anywhere, but they need to have it fit into their workflow. They need to have it integrate with all the different, whether it's maybe a Uniflow or some of the other, some of the other document management platforms you guys might be working on. Whether it's print management, document management, they need somebody to button this up and secure it, because the one thing that hasn't stopped, hacking hasn't stopped, malware hasn't stopped. None of that has stopped. If anything, it's increased. And, we know some companies out there that have had to deal with customers who have gotten kind of, mixed up in the middle of this and shut down and locked out. And it's tough. It's better safe than sorry. And the one place, if you're going to spend your money as an end user right now, you've got to be secure. You've got to do everything you can.
Yep. And that is one of the cards that we're able to play, not only from our document and our output and our print devices. It's our IT security as well. And we preach that like crazy. And we helped a lot of our clients and customers and people who had said no to us previously come running because of the Microsoft thing that just happened. You've got to have the right things that'll trigger that something is going wrong with your network. And you've got to have people like ours getting on there and saying, okay, there's a problem. We're shutting you down. We're taking all incoming away for the time being, because we have to figure out what is trying to get in there. We have to stop it.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. This was great. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. Are either of you, Mary Jo, are you going to be traveling anywhere, going to any dealer shows, any conferences anytime soon?
Well, we're looking forward to the BPCA. I'm proudly part of the BPCA group, and we will be having our meetings this coming fall and possibly one late summer as well. So that'll probably be the earliest, unless Canon's got something planned, Nancy. I don't know.
That's my next question.
Yeah, not yet. I mean, we can't wait. But we want to make sure that everybody's vaccinated and that it's people and that people want to travel. It's interesting in that since we've been using Microsoft Teams, and like everybody else, we were sort of forced into it. We had the tool, but we never used it because we like to be face to face. But once we started using that, we're visiting many, many more dealers than we normally would be able to, because traveling is just hard, so we're looking forward to getting back to it, though, and hopefully we'll be able to have some dealer meetings and get-togethers, if not in the fall, maybe first part of next year. Just we're looking forward to that.
It's baby steps, right? So
it is.
There's a few associations. The BPCA is a great association. I've been to several of their shows. Hopefully, maybe I'll get invited back someday to another one. But there's several peer groups just like those. They're having them as well. And I did mention earlier, BTA is having one. So we're getting there, right? I think the last big industry event that everybody went to, or that a decent amount of people went to, was about a year ago, and it was the last BTA. It was sort of like the end of everything before, you know, everything shut down. And now it's not going to be quite as big as the last one, but you know, I think people are excited to get back out there. I think there's, you know, a group of people who are a little tentative maybe, and a group that are just, I can't wait, get me out of here. I mean,
Yeah.
we heard the the story of the dealer from gal from Marco who drove all the way from Minnesota down to Utah for a cheeseburger, right? I don't know if you saw.
I didn't see that. That's
he had
great.
a video interview he did with me like this, and he was actually in his car. Actually, I think it was a happy hour, an industry happy hour we did, and he was wearing the hat, and you know, he's just a character. This whole industry is filled with characters, but he literally drove 2,000 miles for a burger because he had to get out of his house, and you know, we've all been there, right? So. But this has been fantastic. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your schedules to do this, and I look forward to seeing you guys in person at some time, hopefully sooner than later. Stay safe, and thank you guys very much for being on with me today.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Mary Jo, for your business. You're a great partner. Thank you.
Oh, and thank you too. And it was great to see all of you. So hopefully not too much longer, and we'll all be together again.
Amen.
Sounds
Take
good.
care, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Bye.